younger group of guys, you guys definitely have a very distinct sound, kind of jazzy, kind of almost European. How did you come to develop the sound that the Tonos Triad plays?
Well, I think it mostly has to do with our instrumentation. We didn't really set out to make this kind of music. It just kind of happened with what we're working with. Rod and I both played in rock bands before and done the whole, you know, smoky bar 3 in the morning situation, and we just kind of we're looking for something different, wanted to do something else, and neither one of us played the instruments that we play now before Tonos Triad.
Dude, I was totally a box drummer before I met you.
Well, I wouldn't claim that.
We all like Tool.
Because I heard a lot of Tool in that song.
There's one song that has an ending that is all Tool. It's just the wrong instrumentation. So yeah, really all across the board. He's a big Bach guy, and I studied music in the university, and so just all across the board, there's good music of every genre. You just got to dig in and find it. There's horrible music in every genre, which is easy to find. Modern music, in my opinion, lacks melody at times. And so our sound came from the different instrumentation plus the need to craft a memorable moment in each song, because there's not a lyrical delivery to tell you what to think or feel about that, whatever piece you're listening to.
Yeah.
So
there's really a conscious effort to make short pop format songs, so we're not out there to make like prog rock instrumental.
Yeah, be more experimental than thou.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
not
we
the
just
idea.
want to make catchy tunes, and other than that, you know, there isn't any kind of stipulation of what we're going to play.
Well, before we get into the final song, we've touched on it a little bit. I got to ask about this. Is definitely very new and different. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your Suitcase drum set?
I'd seen a DVD. There's a band called Eels, and they were playing at this venue called Town Hall in New York City, and it was this nice sort of acoustic, low-key thing. And he has in his band this guy, they call him the Chet, and he's the multi-instrumentalist of the band, and he had this drum set up, and he was using an old Tweed Suitcase for his bass drum. And I thought that was pretty cool, but he had, for his snare drum, it looked like he was banging on a 50-gallon drum, and it sounded great, and I had no idea how he did it. So I got the right suitcase, and then I was stumped as to what I was going to do for a snare, and I didn't want to carry too much equipment around, so I started asking a bunch of people, what should we do? And an old friend of mine said, why don't you try a shoebox with some jazz brushes? So the Suitcase has a bass drum pedal attached to it. If you know, I can maybe turn it around or maybe not. But I attached a bass drum pedal. So there's the thump thump, and then the cardboard box with the brushes. You get different kinds of tones.
Kind of that old school jazz.
Kind of a jazz drum sound.
Yeah.
And the cymbal is just a teeny tiny. This is obviously a real cymbal. I couldn't find anything safe and small. I was going to use a saw blade, but I started thinking of occupational hazards. And this is just a cheap, crappy music stand. And all of this fits up and folds up and goes back into the suitcase when I'm done. So the drum set folds back in on itself. So that's really the story. Nothing too amazing, but it has a good sound for as weird and funny as it looks. And I also use like little egg shakers and percussive things to enhance the tune. Depends on what the song calls for.